LeBron James is upset because the Lakers are planning for the future. He wants to win now, but they are intentionally worse next year to prep for 2027. That year, LA will have max cap space to build around Luka, but here's the thing. The Clippers are in the exact same position. When you see their books, look at the wide open salary space for 2027. That summer, the only guaranteed money is Ivica Zubac for $21 million. So both LA teams can sign elite talent in free agency in 2027, but the Clippers are going for it right now too. In fact, they might have just had the best offseason in the entire NBA. No wonder LeBron is so pissed. He's looking across town like, we couldn't have got that talent? Why are we punting on 2 years for 2027? Well, the answer is something very interesting going on behind the scenes. So the Clips' latest additions are Chris Paul and Bradley Beal. After a buyout with the Suns, he interviewed 5 teams: the Clippers, Lakers, Heat, Warriors, and Bucks. They all had good pitches, but it was over once Beal got on the phone with James Harden. The Beard told Beal, "Yo, I am not the guy from Houston anymore. I don't care about scoring 30 a night. In fact, I want you to have some of these stats. I'm overloaded. Plus, did you see what I just did with Norm Powell? Dude had a career year at 31 years old as my starting 2 guard. Gonna get paid. That could be you." So while getting $99 million over the next 5 years from Phoenix, Beal signed a 1+1 with the Clippers for $11 million. Dude was a burden on the Suns for $50 million, but $5.5 million? And remember when Beal got to the Suns, he was supposed to be, part of a big 3. But on the Clippers, he's just another piece to an already deep team. The perfect role. And the Suns were so thin and terrible on defense, all of Beal's flaws were magnified. But his new team was the number 3 defense in the NBA. Harden's gonna run the show, Kawhi draws double teams, Beal can cook on offense, crush pick and roll with Zubac and Brook Lopez. In fact, last year, Beal scored 17 a night on 50% from the field, 40% from 3, but his catch and shoot was 41% from deep, which means off-ball magic. Side note, this is now an official admission of failure by the Suns. They have now gotten rid of Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal in the same offseason, saving $160 million next year. Total waste of their 2022 roster that made the finals. But that's not all the Clippers did this offseason. They also got John Collins for basically free and stole Brook Lopez from the Lakers. Then added Chris Paul. Collins shot even better than Beal off catch and shoot last year. Plus, his speed and athleticism gives LA a new 2-big look. Lopez might be 37, but it is now the perfect time to become a backup. He goes from playing 32 minutes a night, so much responsibility, to about 15-20 minutes a game. And Zoo has needed a quality backup for a while, especially last year in the Denver series in the playoffs. I mean, Ben Simmons was their number 2 big at times. Now they've got solid defense the entire game and might have beat the Nuggets last year with Brook Lopez. So to recap, LA gave James Harden a $6 million raise, which left a full mid-level exception. They took that mid-level and Norm Powell turned it into Chris Paul, John Collins, Bradley Beal, and Brook Lopez. How stupid do the Lakers look now? But before we get to how the Clippers pulled this off over the Lakers, how good can they be next season? Because if there is one team that can break this streak of not winning back-to-back, it is the OKC Thunder. So I still put them in a tier by themselves. But the other team to really watch in the West is Denver. They had the most underrated offseason this year. The Nuggets turned Michael Porter Jr.'s bad contract into Cam Johnson and Bruce Brown getting $30 million cheaper. Now they're more flexible and deeper than ever. So I put OKC in tier 1, Denver by themselves in tier 2. But the Clippers are the number 1 team there in that 3rd tier. And with a little luck, they can make the finals. Obviously, the big risk for them is always health, but even with Kawhi missing over half the season last year, they still won 50 games. By the way, tier 3, I have some combination of the Clippers, Lakers, Wolves, Warriors, and Rockets, but Clippers at the top. So I would say their ceiling is the number 2 seed in the regular season and the West Finals at least. But how did the Clippers pull this off over the Lakers? Well, like we said, both teams have an eye on 2027. For the Clips, that's when Kawhi and Harden's money comes off the books and they can reset as a franchise. For the Lakers, they'll already have Luka Doncic if he signs this extension. And reports say they want to add a superstar. The big names that summer, Giannis Antetokounmpo and Nikola Jokic. Both will be free agents able to slide right into purple and gold. But here's the thing. The Lakers already have a top 10 player next to Luka. I mean, say what you want about LeBron James. Last year, he was top 6 in MVP voting. He was second team All-NBA. So, by definition, a top 10 player. And they are waiting for Giannis? What makes them think he even wants to go there? Let alone 2 years from now. And to make this happen, they had to let Dorian Finney-Smith walk for nothing. DFS was so key to LA last year. They were 17 points per 100 possessions better with him on the floor. The 3-and-D type player everybody needs. And instead of re-signing him, they're like, nah, we'd rather have cap space for Giannis, thanks. Okay, buddy, keep telling yourself that. And are Giannis and Luka even a great fit? Both guys need the ball in their hands, and he didn't exactly run a great pick and roll with old Damian Lillard the last 2 seasons. How's that gonna work out? Oh, and Nikola Jokic. Even if he did change teams, yeah, right, they're 2 of the best creators in the NBA. Better to have complementary stars, isn't it? But the Lakers are so obsessed with this whole super team thing, they're afraid to go all in around the 2 stars they already have. Luka and LeBron now, just like they're afraid to go all in around AD and LeBron before. But super teams aren't even what they used to be. Have the Lakers looked around the league the last 10 years? The Clippers, though, understand team building is so much more nuanced than that in the modern NBA. Once they have a top star, they have tried to surround him with deep, versatile players, role guys like Derrick Jones Jr. and Ivica Zubac. And when the second apron became a thing, the Clippers immediately adapted. Do you know how hard it must have been for them to just let Paul George go to the Sixers in free agency for nothing? They spent so much to get him. Just to watch him leave, LA got clowned so hard in the media, and the owner Steve Ballmer had to put out a statement saying, oh, it's best for the team. But he was right, because it turns out this offseason was only possible because PG left. They pivoted to Derrick Jones and Chris Dunn immediately for $35 million less, and now they add 3 more legit guys. If they chose to keep Paul George, all that is out the window, and they would get stuck with his bad knees and horrible contract. So this is just a smart front office that doesn't rely on being LA and the glamour market. Do you know how terrible the Lakers would have been the last 10 plus years if they didn't get lucky because LeBron just wanted to sign with them out of nowhere? Mismanaged, and LeBron just happens to choose to be a Laker. Then he uses his connections to add Anthony Davis. This was not some super smart front office, okay? We saw that again when Rob Pelinka randomly got a phone call from Nico Harrison like, hey, would you like to just basically have my generational superstar? It's just a team that's gotten lucky again and again, but that luck will run out. The Clippers are obviously a much better run franchise, and it was never more obvious than this offseason. But LeBron might actually be done as a Laker now. The story behind his beef with the franchise goes really deep, so I had to look at that and where he might go next.